Beatriz. Take it away, Beatriz. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Anna. And great to see you, Juanita.
Good to see you too,
So,
Beatriz.
yes. Um, all right. So, thank you for taking the time of your busy schedule. It's Monday and at the beginning of the week. And thank you for joining us in today's presentation. I also want to thank the partnership that we have with San Diego Housing Commission. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I hope that we can continue a long time this partnership. Um, my name is Beatriz Mauersberg, and all of you who have joined this class, you can see my name is also on the front of the PowerPoint. Um, we represent Money Management International, and Money Management International is a national nonprofit agency uh, in the United States. We are also the largest HUD-approved agency in the country. We are not a government agency, but we are under the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. So once again, San Diego Housing Commission, thank you so much for this partnership. What are some of the other programs that we offer? We offer budget and credit counseling, debt management programs. We also do a student loan counseling, and then we also do counseling on pre-bankruptcy, and that is for consumers who they need to file for bankruptcy. There is a requirement for a counseling session. We are also under the National Foundation for Credit Counseling. And in the department that I belong to, we are the Financial Wellness Department. I do outreach and education. And as an Anna just uh, reminded everyone, we are offering the same class today at 1 p.m. In Spanish. So if some of you rather, you know, decide that the Spanish, then that you can, join us also. If you want to join us for both of them, welcome, welcome. So also, I just want to let you know that at the end of the presentation, we'll have a slide where it has our phone numbers and also our website. But if you need any extra information, any extra resource, just uh, reach out to your counselors at San Diego Housing Commission and just, and they will be able to let me know what other information resources you may need. Also, throughout the presentation, I will be naming a couple of worksheets that I have already sent, and then the counselor will be sharing that information with all of you. There is also a booklet, a handbook, about 8 pages handbook. So all the information that you're going to be receiving here today, it is in that handbook. So you're able to apply what you are learning today by following up. And once you have the booklet, you can read the information. If some of you are having difficulty downloading or receiving the email or receiving the information, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. If you're not able to see it right now, to print the information right now or to have it in front of you, don't worry about it. Just take notes. And then once you are able, once you're more relaxed and you have more time, then you can go ahead and read the information and compare with your notes. And that way you're able to apply the information that you're going to be learning here today. So don't worry about it. All of you will be receiving the information. So that was one of the questions we have had the most and a couple of classes before. I'm going to get the handouts that I mentioned. Yes, everybody's going to get the handout that I be mentioning. Okay, so when income decreases, but the bills don't, how to manage your financials during a crisis. Okay, so we have compiled this information to give you some guidelines and what to do in case that there is a crisis. Okay, I know that right now we are in a crisis. We've been facing a crisis with the pandemic. A lot of you have been able to reach out to others, being able to manage your finances. But, sometimes we're not prepared. We're not prepared. So this information is going to give you some guidelines so you're able to be prepared. Also, I always like to compare when we are preparing for a storm, okay? When we're preparing because there is a hurricane coming, or there's a storms or an ice storms or anything like that. I know all of you are in San Diego, you're in California. I'm in the east side. I'm in Georgia. So, I know there's storms all over. I think we get them more on this side. However, we all need to be prepared. So when the weatherman starts saying, yes, we need to prepare, then everybody hits the store, get gasoline in their vehicle, get paper supplies, food supplies, etc. So they're, we prepare. Well, the same thing. Um, when we are hit with a financial crisis, but what happened is that a lot of times this financial crisis or this emergency don't tell us. They don't tell us, hey, tomorrow you're gonna have a flat tire tomorrow. So no, they're not. This unexpected crisis don't tell us. So, and keep in mind that these unexpected events can happen at any time, and they don't let us know. They don't tell us. And when these unexpected events happen, it can easily they can turn into financial disasters if we don't know what to do. I know we get nervous, we get stressed, but if we already know and we have a guideline and what to do, then we know immediately what to do. What type of emergencies we're talking about? It could be a car repair, it could be an illness, it could be a property damage, loss of employment, or maybe reduction of hours, or maybe we have children and one of those children gets sick or has to be hospitalized, or we have an accident or something like that. Um, so when all of this happen, if we're not prepared, it can get really expensive. It can be, and then we get all very stressed, and it can really kind of really mess up all our finances at that moment. Um, then we decide that we're gonna get the easy way. We want to just go into the easy solutions. But when we turn to additional borrowing to pay for this increased expenses that we were not expecting, it can make the situation worse. Okay, so borrowing costs will stretch a tight budget even further, creating a downward financial spiral. So, enable for us to cope with an unexpected crisis, an unexpected emergency, we need to be prepared. We need to also open all channels of communication. We have to have a plan, okay? We are going to look for alternatives to additional borrowing, and we are going to seek help from all kinds of sources, either public or private or non-for-profit agencies, or a neighbor, coworker, even our place of employment, or our place of worship, if you belong to a place of worship. So this is what we are going to try to give you some guidelines here today. Also, one thing to remember is that when you face an emergency, please don't feel like you're alone. I know we tend to kind of close ourselves in a cocoon. We get stressed. We don't. We feel that, yeah, hey, I'm strong. I'm gonna get out of this. I'm going to really do it by myself. But sometimes we need to really talk. We need to ask for help, and it is okay to ask for help. So don't feel that you are alone. The main thing is to look at all the resources available, all you know, any type of help that we may receive out there. It is important to have a group, a great support group, okay? And then we don't, we don't need to, have a complete list, but we need to know where to look for that information, okay? All right, so, oops, sorry. Okay, so this is what we're gonna be covering today. We are going to be able to analyze all available resources, and we also going to know the importance of assessing the current situation, assessing the situation where we are at that moment of the crisis. We are going to be able to give you information on how to create a priority-based spending plan and the importance of having one. What are the priority payments? Because a lot of times we may not be all our obligations. So we need to really create some sort of like a priority plan. And if for some reason we may not be able to pay any of those, then how are we going to work with the creditors? What is the information that we need to keep in mind when we are contacting
Hello,
our
I
creditors?
just joined in.
Hello.
Hi, it's Maria Diaz. I just joined in, you guys.
Okay, Maria, thank you. I'm gonna mute you now, okay?
Yes, okay.
Welcome. And then the last thing that we are going to be covering is how to recover strong and how to create a plan. Yes, we always, even though we are in a crisis, we need to continue to stay positive, and have a continued plan that, hey, we're gonna get out of this and we're gonna continue, but I need to have a plan, and that plan has to be a solid plan. Okay, so those are the strategies. Those are the topics that we are going to be covering today. Once again, you're not alone, but you need to be in that beast mode that is going to be able to give you a strength. It's going to give you that willingness to win whatever you're facing. And this mode is usually when people are talking about the sports or competition. But when we are in a situation, we need to get ourselves like this. We are going to win. We're going to get out of this. As we tackle our finances. So that means that we're going to explore all options, all options. Now, maybe there has to be some hard choices, okay? But it is okay because they're going to be temporary. Remember, we need to continue to stay positive in a positive mode, and we may need to do some hard choices, and also we need to have a very important conversation in our household. Remember, I mentioned a few minutes ago a group, a meeting, like open communication with the rest of the members of your family. Because when we have a household and we're tackling our finances, everybody has to be in the same step. Everybody has to be in the same sit, okay? So be open, have a family meeting. Everybody needs to be open to ideas, stay positive, willing to make changes and adjustments, okay? So it is very important to involve everyone, because you will be surprised. Some of the family members may have some ideas that you probably didn't think about it. Or also, if they are used to a certain event or certain expense, then we need to probably cut that temporarily and then they need to know. And it's not like we don't love them, it's that temporarily we need to make an adjustment in our household. So step number one is analyzing all your resources and assessing the situation. Okay. So what are we doing? We are when we're assessing our situation, we're assessing everything, not only our income, expenses, where the money is going, but also it's very important to know who are our creditors, who do we owe money to, what are our obligations when it comes to credit or loans. Okay, so it's very important to order your credit report from annualcreditreport.com. And this form is going to be also shared with all of you. And Juanita and Anna, I'll send you that. I think I forgot to include this form, but I'll send you that form. But if anybody wants to go ahead and do that, you can also do stc.gov, and you can go how to request my credit report as mandated by the federal law, and you will see the form. But I will share the form.
Thank you, Beatriz.
You're welcome. So yeah, so why is it so important to request your credit report? Because you need to know who are your creditors, who are the loans, what are your obligations that you have at this moment. So you're assessing the entire situation. Why do we need to order it through annual credit report? Because it's going to allow you to receive all of your 3 credit reports, history, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And that way you're able to see everything. Okay, so that is part of assessing your situation. Once you receive those credit reports, you want to go ahead and do a creditor list. You know, your creditors, your loans, your account numbers, the balances, the monthly payment or minimum payment that you are sending, and the due date. So it's very important to have all of that in front of us. Then continue to assessing our situation. We need to know if we have some savings, if we have any emergency savings, or if we have any, if someone owe us money. You know, we're just trying to see if we have some liquid amount that we're able to obtain. And here is where you can also be able to ask a family member in your household that may be working. You know, it might be a teenager, a young adult, and they are working, and they may have some savings that they may be able to give to the household. However, it has to be in a sort of a loan. Okay, so if I have a child and my child has some savings, I said, okay, can we borrow? Okay, I'm gonna write you an IOU in case that we need it. Are we able to use that savings? So just kind of looking at every angle of where we can get if we have any type of savings. Okay. The other thing, also very important, is to know if we are eligible for unemployment. So you go into the government agency and see if you are eligible. In this case, we're talking about any type of crisis. And here, maybe we have been laid off, or maybe reduction of hours. So we're just looking at the whole entire information. So here is a U.S. Department of Labor has a lot of information for unemployment benefits and extra part-time jobs, etc. All right, so before we talk about the temporary adjustment, also part of knowing your financial situation, at the same time that you're doing this, you're also looking at your income, okay? If you're still working, how much money is coming in? If you're not working, if you're receiving unemployment, or if you're receiving food stamps, or if you're receiving Social Security or child support or spouse support, you start looking at the whole entire situation, evaluating your situation. Okay, maybe I don't have income from a job, but I have all these other income. So assessing the entire situation. I have included in this program a single worksheet that is called the budget sheet. And in the budget sheet, and also your booklet has one, but I always like to send the extra one. And then on that single sheet, it will allow you to write all your net. Remember, net income. And keep in mind that the net is the amount of money that we bring home, is the amount of money that we're able to deposit in our checking account. It's the money that we have on hand, not the gross. Gross is the entire amount. It's when we get paid, and it's the hourly rate or the salary rate. So we can take that in consideration. At the same time, you're looking at where the money is going. Where are your expenses? How much is your rent? So your worksheet is going to be split in 3 areas, and it's going to be the fixed expenses, it's going to be your flexible expenses, and it's going to be your periodic expenses. If some of you took my class a week ago, we went over that form and we went over how to create that budget. But if you didn't, don't worry about it. I know they have the recording, and they will be able to share the workbook that went with that class. The importance of really knowing your budget is that you need to put all the expenses. Fixed expenses are the same amount each month. Flexible expenses are the ones that vary from month to month. For example, gasoline, groceries, utilities, food out, entertainment, things like that. And then the last, you have periodic expenses. And the periodic expenses don't happen every month, but they happen every other month, once a year, twice a year. So yes, even though we are in an emergency crisis, we're kind of really looking, we need to put everything. And that way we'll be able to go back when we have those family meetings and then see, hey, where can we do a temporary adjustment? What expense can we, stop momentarily? Or maybe one of the periodic expenses will be probably your cleaning supplies, health and beauty supplies, and then maybe finding places where we may be able to get those items for free, or maybe for less price. Okay, so that individual, that single worksheet, you have in your handout. Okay. Also another thing when we talk about temporary adjustments, depending of the crisis or the emergency situation that we are facing, we may need to look if we are still working. If we are still working, maybe the situation, the crisis is in a different. It's a different event rather than not having employment. But if we continue to be employed, maybe a temporary adjustment will be adjusting your W-4, okay? But remember, temporary, okay? What do I mean about that? Well, maybe adjusting it in that way, we're able to bring more cash in rather than not having enough net and enough cash coming in net. But remember, this is temporarily, and this is something that you can do. You can talk to your HR department with your employer. So that might be one of those. Also looking to see if in your check, in your paycheck, you may have some deductions, um, like into savings or maybe a long-term investment that it may that may be that may need to be stopped temporarily. Once again, temporarily, because in here that's what we're trying to do is temporarily. We're gonna, get out of. We're doing adjustments. We're cutting because we're gonna, get out of this situation. Other help, you also in here is going to look at the whole community where you are, okay? Who are the nonprofit organizations or maybe government agencies that they are providing some help? In the nonprofit, there may be an agency that they're giving assistance with utilities or they're giving assistance with food banks, um, lunches for the kids. You just look at the entire. One of the great agencies that has pretty much everybody in your community is the United Way. UnitedWay.org. Just look at the United Way agency in your area, in where you live. So they will have a lot of information. 211 is it is uh, a national number, and then you are able to put your zip code or the city. And maybe this is something that you may be able to help someone that may not live in your area, maybe a relative or a friend that is maybe in another state, another city, and he or her, him or her is reaching out to you, and then you are able to help them and say, hey, wait a minute, I took this class. Let's see what agencies are in the area where you live that you're able to seek help. Okay, and this reminds me once again is that please don't keep this information. Don't keep this information. Share it with other people. All right. So creating a priority-based spending plan. Okay. So we were assessing the situation, right? The very first step, we were assessing the situation. We look at all our creditors, all our personal loans or obligations that we have. We look at what type of income, if we are working, if we're not working, we're assessing how much is coming in, where is the money going, like rent, utilities, etc., everything. And now we are going to look over again, and we are going to really emphasize on a priority. We're gonna just emphasize on priority. And when I said priority, it means just the needs, just the needs. And please keep in mind, we want this to keep in mind that this situation is temporarily, okay? That this situation is temporarily. We become so accustomed to living in a certain way that sometimes the line between a want and a need can get blurred. So it is time to be in that mode, in that reduction beast mode, all right? And that expense reduction beast mode. And we're gonna make adjustments, and we need to keep everybody involved in the family. So now we are evaluating our budget. We're looking at every single area of that budget, every line on that expense budget, and we are just going to tackle all the areas. We are going to prioritize expenses. We are prioritizing expenses. And when we talk about prioritize, we're talking about the needs, the immediate needs that we need right now. That will be your shelter, your rent or mortgage, your transportation, if you need that transportation to move the kids around to school or for you to go to work, or the transportation. That means money for gasoline and to continue to pay your car insurance. Utilities, okay? And we're talking about utilities. We're talking about the things that you actually need: your electric, your heating, your water, okay? And then we talk also about transportation, medicine, okay? This is a priority, medication. And then you start, looking at all the other expenses. They are the must-have, even on priority items. But we need to resist the urge to overspend and really engage in that sometime in that mass buying, especially when we go groceries is a must, it's a priority. But then we ended up going to the store and we want to buy a lot of things. But we need to really understand that, hey, we're only buying what we need right now, because that's what we're prioritizing right now. We also advise that when you're considering expenses, there are some things that they are not a priority. And I don't want to name any specific one. That is up to each individual, because that's why we have that family meeting and we talk with the rest of the members in the family and we say, look, we are in a crisis right now. We are in an emergency situation right now, and we need to really move on. But we need to make some temporary adjustments. So we may need to cut this bill that maybe some of the family, the members in the family may not like, but once again, temporary. Okay, this is a temporary. The other thing that you also may be able to do is when you're talking about priorities, also talk about alternatives. A lot of times, we do need cell phones or we need cable in some areas, but the main thing here is, hey, rather than spending $100, what are the other services? What are the other services in that specific bill that we can continue to have that cell phone or that cable or that other whatever, continue to have that, but it may be in a very less less expensive way. Okay. Keep in mind that all of us have unique needs and all of us have wants, but we are very, unique. We are unique. We can't compare with others. We need to just kind of keep it with us and really know what is going on in our family, in the center of our family. When we're talking about reducing expenses, once again, temporarily, I mentioned the cable, maybe a membership that you may have, temporarily, suspending it, maybe rather than entertainment or going out to eat, maybe having a picnic or having a family night or going to a park or going, always looking for alternative when you need to spend money. Hey, this is going to cost us $20. Let's see if we can do the same thing, maybe less with less money, or maybe no money, paying no money at all. Also look at your insurance. Look at your insurance and see what coverage you have, that you may be able to talk to the company and see if you may be able to reduce, or because insurance is a must. It's a must. That is a need. So they may have, if you're not driving one vehicle, maybe suspend that for a while, or maybe you're paying for an insurance that you really don't need. For example, one of those examples are a lot of the creditors, a lot of the credit card issuers, sometimes they have insurance that they charge you in case that you're not able to pay the bill. Look at those statements and see those are, you don't need to be paying that. They may be also an insurance that that you may not need. There's always something that you may be able to reduce. If you don't have any of those, then don't worry about it. Okay. Then when we're talking about that priority budget, making that priority spending plan. At the same time, we're looking at our priority payments. Okay, we already look at our creditors. If we have a car loan, that is a priority. So that is a priority payment with that bank, with that creditor. If we have a personal loan, if we have a student loan, that is a priority. But at the same time, look and see what programs the U.S. Department of Education may be able to offer for people who are in a temporary crisis, if they're able to defer those payments and so forth. Working with the creditors is very important. So if you're not able to meet all your obligations, this is where we are going to work with our creditors. Okay. Remember, we look at our budget. We see if we have income coming in. We already have a complete list of all our creditors. We may be able to meet some of those payments, but we may not be able to meet all of those. The priorities in here will be your secure loans, a mortgage, a car loan, a student loan. Those will be your priorities. And any secure credit cards will be a priority. Like in the second line will be your credit cards, maybe hospital or medical bills, maybe on the second step. But if we're not able, okay, once again, if we're not able to meet some of those, then we need to reach out to the creditors. We need to reach out to the bank, to the issuer, to the financial institution. So remember, we have already established a priority spending plan, and we already know what our priorities are, what are the things that we need to put aside because we can't pay those. Okay. All right. So when you contact your creditor, you need to kind of follow these important steps. Explain your situation. But before you do that, before you explain the situation, you need to keep a log. You need to keep a log with written information, who the creditor is, the account number, 1 page per creditor, the account number, the phone number. Who is the person who is answering? Who is the person who answered the phone and is talking to you? The date of that conversation, the time, enable for you also to do follow-up. Then you're going to explain the situation, and then you're going to ask for a hardship program. And a lot of these creditors have, some of them have them, some of them don't have them, but hey, we don't lose anything with asking. So then you can ask for either a forbearance, which is like a prepay, like a plan to repay. A deferment means that they are stopping the payments for certain days, or reduced payments. My monthly payment is $50, but my budget, that's why it's so important to look at that budget. My budget will allow me to pay the half, 25. Because when we are talking to the creditors and we are asking for the reduced payment, we need to have already a plan. We already need to know, because we already look at our budget. We already know how much money is coming in and what are all our priority expenses. And then the last thing, ask how the account in your credit report will be affected. I know currently, because of this crisis, a lot of the creditors are not, they're not reporting it negatively, but it is up to us to make sure that they are doing their part. And this takes me very quickly to let you know that under the annual credit report, which is that very first part that I explained to you under the federal law, right now, every consumer is eligible to receive their credit report for free once a week until April of 2022. And the reason why the federal law was amended is because it's allowing consumers to check to make sure that if I already have a hardship program with a creditor, I already have a repayment plan with a creditor, that creditor is not really reporting me in a negative way, okay? Please, you need to have everything in writing. You need to have everything in writing. Ask for a following letter, okay? Ask for a following letter, a confirmation letter. Take notes, take notes. Follow up, ask them for an email or follow up in writing if it's possible. And that way you have proof. You have proof that they were going to do that. And that way, in case that you have to dispute, because it's the right, and you will learn more of this about credit report and credit scores and all the laws and regulations that come with it in the next few weeks. We're going to be teaching this class. So be attentive with your counselors so you can attend and learn more about it. At the same time, you need to know your rights when it comes to debt collectors. All right. There is a law also that protects consumers, and this is the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. So if you have collectors calling you, you need to know what to do. You need to know that there is a law that protects you, protects every certain times or after certain time. If we cannot, and this is not a priority, this debt collection accounts is not a priority at this moment. We already did a list: housing, medication, transportation, utilities, okay? But you need to know how to answer them, not ignoring them. No, we cannot just do not answer the calls or anything like that, but we need to know what to do. And there is information more about this in the one of the following app classes that we're doing, how to deal with, I think is keeping debt under control. We talk more in detail about this. But you can find this information in the booklet also that I have shared with your counselors. So you need to know what to do when it comes to collectors threatening you they cannot harass you. They cannot demand you to send them payments, okay? But we need to know what to do exactly, okay? All right, so recovering is strong and creating a plan, okay? Yes, we are gonna recover strong after whatever emergency we may be facing, and at the same time, we're creating a plan. It may take, sometimes, it may take a little bit of time to get back to normal. And like right now, it is taking us a little bit to get back to normal, because this was it is a big crisis. But you will get back. You will, get back to work. You will get your health back, or your child health back. Your car will be fixed. Whatever the emergency is. But until that happens, um, we we need to still we still need to work on repaying the loans, on repaying those credit cards that we were not able to pay. We need to work on bringing our accounts up, up to date. So yes, we cannot just forget about all those obligations. So we are going at the same time creating a plan, because we have already a list of all our creditors that we are written down. And that way we know, okay, this one is going to be paid first, then we're going to do this. So have a plan to repay those loans, to repay those obligations, to bring your accounts current. Continue to check your credit report. Continue to check your credit report. I just already told you we are eligible to receive it once a week. And then at the same time, you are going to, there it is. There is information about requesting your credit, reminding you again to request your credit report. Repaying, you're going to have a plan that you are going to repay those loans as soon as possible. At the same time, we are going to create a plan to continue to save and continue to build an emergency savings. I know this probably will be the last thing that many of us may be thinking, is putting money away when we have creditors or when we have loans that we need to repay or we need to bring up to date. This is probably the last thing. But and it is also hard to think about maybe future emergencies when we are in a stressed mind, when our situation is stressful. But we need to. This is a plan to recover strong. We are going to save. We're going to build that habit of savings. We are going to replenish that emergency saving that we may have, tackle. We also need to pay our family member if we borrow money from them. So we need to honor that. We need to continue to revisit our budget, even though, during that crisis, we need to continue to revisit that budget, to continue to find ways to adjust the expenses, to continue to reduce expenses. But once everything is over, we need to continue to do this. We need to continue to revisit the budget as a family, okay? Because everybody is part of that family. Everybody, all your household is part of that family. So consider to pay yourself first. Consider to pay yourself first. Consider to put money for an emergency savings and in a separate account, and that way we're not touching it. One thing important is that I get this question a lot, and is how much should I save? Well, the main thing here is to save what our budget allows us. Okay, it says that pretty much it is recommended 10%. Of your 10% every pay period. But if we can't, then we save what we can't. If we save $1 or $2 or $5, it's better than nothing. Okay, so little by little, that will go up. Okay, so it's just building that habit of saving. One thing also that will allow you to revisit your that allows you to revisit your budget and your expenses. Is a worksheet that I have included also that I have already sent, and it's called Daily Record of Expenses. And this allows you to really track where your money is going daily, daily, and not only the amount, but where is it going? So take advantage of that form, use it, and try to get everybody in your household to use it, because it will be an eye opener. It will be really an eye opener to know exactly where and how we're spending our money. We mentioned about this about the goal of repaying debt, reducing debt. There is a couple of plans. There is a rapid repayment plan, but we'll talk more about this in detail when we have the class called Keeping Debt Under Control. And we explain a couple of ways and how to really get out of debt quickly ourselves. So I hope that you can be with me in the near future to go over all of that information. This is part of our website. We are always updating information, giving resources. We are a national agency, so we have resources, nationally. Just keep in mind that you're not alone, okay? That you're not alone, that you have a support system, you have your family, you have your place of worship, you have the counselors here with this program, your friends, relatives, agencies, get familiar with the agencies, get familiar with the programs, with events that they may have around in the area, okay? This is just a quick information, a disclaimer that this is educational. This presentation is designed for educational purposes only. And then if you need any type of legal or tax or investment, please seek help with a professional. This is our website. This is, if you don't put coronavirus, /coronavirus, and if you just put moneymanagement.org, you can just see the entire information. But if you want to learn more about help and extra information, updated information specifically for the crisis that we are facing right now, you can go into /coronavirus. Our phone number is available 24 hours, 7 days a week. We have counselors. The call is free. The counseling session is free. If you like to talk to a counselor, that you need help to build your budget, to build your spending plan, you're not sure how to do it, counselors are there. The counselors are also able to pull one of your 3 credit reports and kind of give you an idea of what is going on. So that is our phone number, available 24/7. All right. Okay. All right. So let's see if we have, wow, this is a good group today. I was not able to see the chat. Miss Anna, do we have any specific questions, or Miss Juanita, any specific questions?
Beatriz, I just see John C. You saying that thank you so much for a great presentation. But there's no questions at this time.
The main thing here is to put it in practice, okay? And share it with someone. Share the information with people who may need it. You may be better prepared because you have a knowledge, and then you are able to help. So you're not only helping yourself, but you're also helping someone. So take advantage of that. Okay.
Yes. And also, everyone, if you'd like to join Beatriz Malsberg today, we have in Spanish, we have a Spanish financial workshop that she's also going to be presenting today. And that is at 1 o'clock today. And it's the same presentation, but in Spanish, and it's called
Complete.
Cuando los ingresos disminuyen.
Disminuyen. Cuando los ingresos disminuyen, pero las facturas no. It's same presentation, all in Spanish, and all the handouts also in Spanish. So if you have someone that may want to take the class, please. Or
Yes.
if you want to take it again in Spanish, you're welcome.
Well, I don't see any other questions or anything. So Beatriz, thank you so much for this wonderful financial workshop. And everyone else, thank you for joining us today at this time. I'm going to end the meeting and I'll see you at 1 o'clock today, Beatriz.
Just one more thing, Anna. We weren't
Okay.
able to get the name of the person who's the iPhone,
Oh, yes.
and we tried and tried. So that person without a name, we will not be able to give them credit for the workshop.